Sarah peered through the leaves. This was the 5th house she had seen today, and one of the very few that fell into her price range. Almost hidden by overgrown shrubs, the narrow structure was easy to overlook. Crumbling stone steps led directly from the street up to a small front door. And that tree. Do you know what kind of tree that is? A rowan. It's supposed to be as old as the house. And how old is that? She removed her sunglasses and looked up at the tree looming over the entrance, partially blocking the door. The original building permit has never been found in public records. In some historical accounts of the city, there is specific mention of a house that survived the Great Fire of 1740, serving as a smithy on this spot, and based on that, I would estimate it's around 300 years old, but I doubt that's accurate. A 300-year-old house? Some of the homes on this street could be described as mansions. This one nestled among them like a poor relation. Double porches with peeling, vine-choked Tuscan columns adorned the left side of the dwelling. Wicker chairs, stacked against the railing, looked moldy with age. Obviously neglected, but with good bones, the house seemed to beg pardon for its humble state. Several of the encircling trees sported green leaves even now in the deep of winter. The plink of a piano floated over from the red brick house next door, reminding her of the piano she had just sold. When she thought of all the money she had flushed keeping it tuned over the years, hindsight is 20/20. This was her second day in Charleston, the city her mother had spoken of so longingly from military postings in Japan and Europe. Sarah's soldier father's career had taken them around much of the world, but, lovely as it was, her mother always reminisced wistfully about this southern coastal town. Yesterday had been Sunday, and despite the rain, she'd walked the cobblestone streets along with the other tourists and listened to the church bells tolling, apt in the Holy City, as the tour guide called it. She was already succumbing to the dilapidated charm of its shady, overgrown lanes and gated side yards, in which fountains splashed unseen behind oleander and magnolia. This street was a little more tucked away than some, and she hadn't come across it in yesterday's ramblings. Ready to see the inside? Sure. You're right about the neighborhood. It's fantastic. I'm just a little worried about the repairs needed on a 300-year-old house. There have been several renovations over the years, obviously, and some rooms are more up to date than others. I'm not saying you won't have to make some changes, but you'll find that reflected in the price. I promise you it's worth a look. He opened the quaint, arched front door to which traces of bright blue paint still clung. The foyer they stepped into was small and square, with a central staircase rising to the second floor.